What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another business breakthrough session. I sit with Matthew Petitti from Petitti's Painting in South Jersey, Philadelphia area. And he's kind of really just starting out, getting his feet wet in the business. He's been doing it now 4 to 5 months, really in a dry spell, like many of us during the holidays. Obviously, getting work for the first few weeks of January is kind of tough, but he's in a position where he can really just pivot his entire business to being employees as opposed to what he's been doing with having a sub here and there, creating the company culture, a lot of things that a lot of us are striving to do. So I thought it'd be a great idea to bring him on for a business breakthrough. And I think you're really going to enjoy this session. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Business Breakthrough. I'm here with Matt Petitti. And do we have it? What's the name of your painting business, bro?
Just Petitti Painting.
Petitti Painting. Pretty simple. Up in South Jersey, Philadelphia area?
Northeast, typically just Philly area and then a little bit of Jersey, but mainly just Philly.
Awesome. So I know that I'm from there. I don't know if I told you, right?
Yeah, I think a while back you mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm from there. So awesome, man. Love to help out a fellow contractor in the area. So let's dive in, man. So tell me, like whenever I start one of these things, man, the most important thing for me is to find out what's going well and what could be going better. So start with that and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so what's been going well so I'm 6 months in, like officially painting business, not just, using my name to go around, but made it a legitimate business. Really pushing forward and just really the name recognition of like, word of mouth already, which, I've learned in the contracting business years ago that really works well. What hasn't been going well is, I guess just being winter, noticing that it did slow up. Like I've had quotes and estimates. People held off a little bit for various reasons of what they say. But being in sales, my past as well, I kind of know,
the game of consistency.
Yeah, know the game of consistency. So that I figured winter was going to be like this just a bit. And now being in the industry myself, I really noticed it like tailor off as going maybe 3 jobs a month, 4 jobs to legitimately 0 or 1. So
okay. Yeah. Well, you didn't have many people to keep busy. What's the team look like?
So right now it is mainly just me. However, I've had a strong 2 guys, if definitely 1, anywhere from like maximum to 3. So it's been good if I can book something out far enough, I can line up my help.
Right.
But there's no one with that. It's my right hand man.
Gotcha.
Just to
gotcha. So the apprehension probably comes from your, I wouldn't say fear, quote unquote, but your inability to have, like a set schedule of work, right? So you can't really promise somebody work. Is that kind of where that comes from?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So do you have anything in the pipeline now?
So I do. So I have 3 of the estimates I was just talking about were fairly large,
Okay.
about a week's worth of work for, multiple people. So that's definitely something that I know if I can book out, I can at least, promise these guys work for
Right.
anywhere from a week to 3 weeks, where I know that they'll trust in me that, hey, he can get the jobs.
Yeah.
I want to keep coming back, basically.
Gotcha.
Being
All right. So example here, let's say you book that job, right? Let's say they call you today, Matt, I want to go with you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything in place right now besides the people that you're kind of on the fence with working with? Do you have anything in place right now to I would say recruit good painters, or are you waiting until you get that to even start that process?
I would say waiting. So the only thing that I've really used to gain momentum just to get my name out there was a Facebook ad.
Well, no. I'm talking about getting
employees.
painters. Oh, yeah, for employees. Oh, okay.
That's what I did use, just to, spread my name, not necessarily to get jobs, just to go another route rather than just a Craigslist or put an ad out on social media. The reach. But no, nothing like that I know how to use yet to like.
Gotcha. So you being in sales, and I'll kind of give you kind of just some salesman here. I've been in sales. I know the game.
Mm.
When you have something greater motivating you than just money, would you agree that you have a little bit more determination to make that next call, a little bit more, I would say a little bit more heart when it comes to communicating with a customer, a little
Mm.
bit more passionate about, getting people to believe in you? Would you agree?
Yeah.
For sure, right? So
Hmm.
I'm already seeing kind of like a problem here with the order of operations, right? So you're not betting on yourself, right? You're pretty much saying that, like, if I get the job, I'll then hire, as
Hmm.
opposed to coming in with a confidence lion mindset of, I'm going to hire now because I know I'm going to find the work. And that's the foundation of your whole business, because ultimately this isn't going to be the last time, bro, that you run into an issue where you're not going to have work. Like, you're going to run into this. I'm currently in it now. I mean, I have 1 week of work booked, me, bro, here in Florida. I'm not battling winter.
Yeah.
It's been dry, right? So I had to channel that same mindset that I'm telling you to channel, even though that you're in the very beginning of your business. I have 8 people to keep busy. So what I'm telling you to do is just amplified on a really large scale for me. I have to make double the phone calls. I've got to make double the, the incentives. I really got to get my name out there, not only as a premier company, but one that's willing to make you a great deal to let us get booked for this first couple weeks of January, which is always a little bit of a challenge right after the holidays.
Yeah.
So my approach in your shoes right now, coming from my perspective, is that the game you're playing right now, especially knowing that there's at least a 3 week feedback loop in terms of getting a quality worker in your business. I mean, the biggest mistake you can make is taking on a job and then rushing the hiring process. The ball's in your court, bro, because ultimately there's two things that I want to say. Number one would be that you're right after the holidays. There's a lot of contractors that are in the same position as you and would say, you know what, I'd rather work for a company. I don't want to have to do what you're about to do, which is to go hunt and go find the work, right? You're the salesman. That's the
Yeah.
hardest job, is to get people to buy from you. Okay. And they're the type of people that are great at what they do, but they've given up on the business aspect and they'd rather just work for somebody and make a good hourly wage, right?
Hmm.
So that's a labor pool right now that is available to you because everybody's in the same boat that you're in. And it's like, there's two ways to look at it. It's like, we're all kind of waiting around, or you're going to be the one that actually promises a job and then sees if you can fulfill that promise. Now, here's the thing. I know that you have more than $500 in your bank account. So, with
Hmm.
that being said, worst case scenario, penalize yourself $500 for not being able to keep this rock star employee busy. And you know what I'm saying? That'll
Yeah.
motivate. You know what I'm saying? That's because if you start hiring right now, like, you need time to get the applicants. And again, and I'd like to at some point through this give you my hiring process. Um, get the applicants, filter out the applicants, do a phone interview, do an in-person interview, do a social media check, like, do all these things before you actually offer them employment.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So ultimately,
No, I
that's what's
hear
going to happen. And then ultimately, when you get that job, you're going to be ready, and even if they have to wait, they have to wait. If they find someone else to work for, they find someone else to work for. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's a great idea, and I've experienced it with one guy so far who came back, that previous ad thing I just mentioned. But I did get a call back. Basically, he reached out to me, was looking for work. He's solo, so I have him not on the back burner, but basically, that I'm
On
going to be,
standby.
yeah, standby. That I'm going to be booking jobs, and um, I'm going to take the risk, probably no matter what, on the first one. Like, I've seen some of his work. He works solo. It would be something, you're going to have to try, in my opinion. At some point, you're going to have to try somebody out, whether, the interview goes well,
Right.
or if it does, hopefully,
Yeah.
obviously, if it goes well, you're going to bring someone along board.
Yeah.
So that's what I currently have is definitely one. I had somebody else who's, like you just said, he found something else because, it's not his main job. So if he gets a call back from his typical
Right.
employer, he's, it is what it is. He's going back. So that's not
Right.
something where I can be like, all right, got him on the line, ready for a week or two of
Right.
work. So right now, no, just one. That's where I'm at though, with
Right.
getting this hiring process for my own, not
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm trying
So
to
let me
hire.
ask you this, because part of where I was going with that is building an employee foundation. Because
Mhm.
I know that you're right now, that to me sounds like a subcontractor relationship, which I know that we've talked about. I
Mhm.
know that that was probably something that you were leaning toward. Are you considering building a team of employees that work for Petitti Painting as opposed to Joe's Painting, who subcontracts for Petitti Painting? Is that kind of the direction you'd like to head into?
Yeah, my personal preference would be for my employees, just based off of my prior experience being a
Right,
subcontractor, an independent
right.
contractor that I was in my past. So I want to go that route, employee. I just think that there's more value personally in it.
Right, yeah,
And
and you can come across a lot more firm with customers about, the
about
fact that
some, yeah,
yeah,
somebody
it
you've been
helps.
with, my employee, as opposed to somebody rolling up maybe in another truck that is
Right.
working for you for 1 week. Nothing wrong with that if it has to happen at some point, then. But my goal is the employee
Right.
direction, though, which
And
is
I think that the difference between like the longer you wait to implement that employee direction, the harder it's going to be when you start making money and you're starting to, book jobs. And it's like you're in this incubator phase right now where you have the ability to honestly like be there with those guys and set the standards, set what they need to do. Cause I was in your position. I was right there. It was
mhm,
just me. Right. And there was a point in time where I was painting my own jobs
mhm,
and I had a subcontractor that I trusted, which was quote unquote one guy. He brought along a helper, and the things that we always fear happened after about a month or so. They did great work and it was awesome. I wasn't paying taxes on them. I was just enjoying. I was like, man, this is great. Write the
yeah,
check, whatever, and not really thinking about it in the way I should have. And then guess what? Turned into, he tried to sell a job under my feet, and then they're leaving when they want and they're not showing up when they want. And then now like the standard wasn't there. They did not care about premium painting. They cared about themselves.
mhm,
They cared about that. That's just what happened. And it was my fault. I took responsibility for it. So from there, finding somebody that would believe in the vision with me, it's like, hey, man, I'm going to offer you an opportunity to be a manager of, my crew. We're going to develop a team of crew, but for right now, we're going to work side by side. And I think that's what you should be eyeballing. Like when you're hiring, you need to know what you're looking for. Like when I have my company set up to where I know exactly like who I'm looking for when I need them. So if you were to categorize my crew, you got, a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. If the 4 leaves for whatever reason, I don't need a project manager. I need somebody that falls into that skill set. But if my 1 leaves, then that's like red alert, man. That's going
yeah,
to be making sure that I have somebody that knows every aspect of painting, knows how to spray, knows how to communicate with customers, knows how to run a job, that has some sort of management experience. Like, so in my mind, when I'm telling you, hey man, you need to get on this, it's more so me knowing what role you actually need. I'm not saying that you can't find a subcontractor and that's like a short-term fix, especially because that's not really what your goal is. My advice to you right now is to find a project manager immediately
mhm,
in this time period where you can really spend time working side by side with this guy, and it's slow pace. Like you guys can work together, bro. I mean, there's no rush to build a solid business. There's people that have been in business for 4 or 5 years that are right where you are and still treading water saying, hey, I have one sub here that could do this. In the same position. I do this a lot and I know. And I'm saying that like, even if you and that guy work together for a month and you paid him great money to just stick with you as an employee, you can build something from that. And then once you see how he works, when you hire the next guy, you're comparing personalities and you're thinking, can these two collaborate together? Can these guys work together? And you're jumping in whenever you can and helping the flow of the jobs. And like you're building this team
yeah,
and you're doing that. And it all starts with this one person that you're finding. So my suggestion is stop wasting your resources keeping a subcontractor busy just to make money.
mhm,
I mean, that's to me, honestly, it's like he's not loyal to you. These resources are hard to find right now. And what you're doing is you're essentially building someone else's business, in my opinion. It's their
mhm,
subcontracting business. Utilize these
yeah.
jobs that you're given and build your team around them.
Mhm. No, I totally agree. Yeah, I'm looking for basically the person who has been working with me and helping me is like exactly what I am looking for, but at the same time, they're already involved in like another industry, which is, I'm just my first 6 months. This is why I'm here. I'm learning how to do these things. So,
Yeah.
but I already know like the type of person I want to find, and it's
Right.
really just going about it and exactly what you just said, the loyalty. If I'm going to take a hit for 4 to 6 weeks just to keep someone along board, maybe we only work 2 weeks, but if it's, someone that can be here for the long haul, that's exactly what the early
Yeah.
payoff is way worth it. I mean,
Yeah, but you have the strategic advantage of being sales heavy, right? So
mm,
that's where I'm getting at is like if the reason you have not pursued this person is because you're not certain that you can keep them busy. Think about it this way. If you had a child at home
Mhm.
and the child needed to eat,
Mhm.
and it's the same mentality, bro.
Yeah.
If you don't sell, then the promises that you made to this person, you're going to be more creative, more resourceful. It happened to me every single time I hired somebody. Every time I hired somebody, I'm like, man, I don't know if I can bring someone else on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that job, but it made me so much more hungry. And in
Mhm.
sales, you need that motivation to, to make those calls, to
Yeah.
deal with the rejections, to get people to say yes, to say, hey, listen, I was telling people straight up, I said, listen, I'll be honest with you. The first week of January is the hardest week of the year to schedule. I'm in a position right now where I have 2 crews and we need work, and I want to give you an awesome deal. What do we have to do to earn your business? And I just leave it there and just let them tell me how I needed to sell them. And, with that approach, like, it wasn't about me making money. It was
Mhm.
more so me making sure that my guys had work. I'll make the money when we have a buffer. I'm more worried about getting my guys work.
Yeah.
And when you come in with that mindset, you can lower your prices. You don't need to hit home runs, because, again, like I said, you're in that incubator period. So bringing on that guy, you're going to be able to price your jobs in a way that just keeps the ship running, and then
Mhm.
gives you a little bit of a buffer, right? And you could do that. That's what I'm saying, is like, get on that project manager now.
No, for
Find them
sure.
now.
Yeah, is I think what you said perfectly about the buffer. If they're working for 2 weeks, that leaves me 2 weeks open to, I can talk to as many people that funnel
Talk
in,
to as
or
many people as you want, price
because
it up.
now the confidence is slowly getting there, knowing that you're basically obviously relying on, you have somebody with you, and then slowly, like you said, I got to jump in, I'm jumping in, but slowly build a team as the
Build
weeks
a
go
team
on.
slowly, and it's a slow process. But look, I mean, I work from home, bro. I don't
Mhm.
go to jobs anymore. I have 2 crews out there, supervisor. They take care of everything, and that was every single person that I brought into my business was brought in with care. It was
Mhm.
never a rush decision. It was never, let me just throw someone in there. It was like, I'm going to curate this person. I'm going to find them. I'm going to interview them. I'm going to give them a working interview, and then I'm going to see if they fit well with our team. And that's how you hire. And it's like for me, I'm saying, like, today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you. I'm going to give
Mhm.
you kind of a form that I use to hire people, and we're going to do that after this for your time. But I really want to help you with that, because you got to think of the huge labor pool that's out there of people, right? And the goal is to funnel those people to be your perfect candidate. And there's a certain process that you need to do in order to do that. You can't just say, I need a painter with a driver's license. That's exactly
Yeah.
what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want somebody that you want to make sure you're putting out there exactly what you want.
Mhm. No, I agree. Yeah, I want more than just showing up one week, and then if you can't work the next, it is what it is. I need someone,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
loyalty.
permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, loyalty, and what do they want out of it as well? Like, if they're willing, long term, then that's exactly what I'm here for. And if not, I feel like you can get that off of an interview. And
easily.
that's the
Well,
whole
yeah,
process. Yeah, it's the whole
you may
process.
have to do 5 to 10 interviews
Hmm.
before you find this person, but that's this dead time that you're in right now. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like, this is the time. And there's, like I said, there's a huge labor pool right now of quality people that need a job. And
Hmm.
they don't need to know that you don't have any work lined up. They don't need to know that you're a brand new business. They don't need to know anything, dude. All they
Hmm.
need to know is that you show up when you go there and you're a presence, and they could tell that you have business sense about you, and you could give them the vision. And when you sell them the vision of, hey, this is where we're heading, and I need somebody that wants to come along with me. This is the pay, this is the expectation. We're going to build this together. I need somebody that can lead a crew. And I want to know if you're that applicant.
Yeah, that's exactly what my thought process and mindset was.
Yeah.
Still was a little bit more, and then slowed down, picked up, and I was cramming things in. But as we're in this downtime, exactly what we're talking about now. Yeah, it's exactly what
Right.
we're looking for
Right.
because of the time frame that we're in. Because I can get emails back in a week that say we want this job, we want this, and then before you know it, I'm 4 weeks in with work, and who do I
Right.
got? You know, myself, which it is, got to put the work out sometimes, but obviously this is the
Yeah.
perfect time to build. So, um,
Right.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. So, I think that the big thing for you is just, like, really, I mean, and you said you have a couple estimates out currently, right?
Yeah, three
Yeah.
currently. Yeah,
Okay,
three
cool.
from like
So,
referral, like people that done work for. So it's already a very good relationship. It's kind of just working out the emails back that say maybe not now, but I'm already going back and forth with what can I do to make this work? Can we break it down room by room? not do the whole downstairs at once. So, kind of working it where, we can schedule these things now, not just saying, oh, well, the price doesn't work, let's move on. So, um, yeah, doing everything I can to turn these referrals into, deposits
Yeah.
and get something lined
Yeah.
up. So, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Let's dive into that for a second. Like, so so there's two ways that I sell jobs when I need them, right? I use two different things. Like, number one, I create the urgency. I give them a reason to
Mhm.
actually buy. You know, there's no emergency paint jobs, bro. I mean,
No,
there's
there isn't.
there's never been an emergency paint job ever. There may be like a, they might not like the color and it might be like hard to look at, but it's still not an emergency. Not like it would be if the roof was leaking, right? Where the
Mhm.
ball's in our court. Hey, we'll come when we can,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't exist for us. So we have to be creative. We can't just go that route. So what we do is we find a way to create urgency, right? So whenever I look at a potential job, whenever I'm looking at an estimate, I'm thinking like, what would be the reason these people would want to hire me? And the first thing I figure out is like why, so I identify like why they want the job done. And majority of the time, it's either, because they hate the colors or HOA. So once you figure that out, that puts the ball in your court. So out of any of those jobs, do you have any clue, like anything specific that you could tell me, like why one of them wants the job done? So I can give you an example of like what I would say to try to sell it a little faster.
Yeah, one is a full downstairs. Kitchen was like redone, so they have like walls cut out that are getting replaced, but
Okay.
everything else is they're doing an overhaul of the downstairs. So it all flows together. So
Okay.
once they paint once you get involved in the kitchen, we're doing the whole thing. It's really only broken up by like a wall.
Okay. So that one.
Emergency.
So are you waiting for the other contractors to come in to do that before you can
No,
get started?
no. So I actually put that in with Mayan. To do the drywall and stuff. And then, I
Okay.
separate them. If yes, here it is. If
Okay.
you want us to do it.
Yeah.
And if not, here's the paint price. And then that was one of the ones I was kind of diving into a bit about breaking it down by a room because it's kind of separated. So you can get away
Right.
with doing a little bit on the
Right.
one side of the room and then one side of not. But that would be the best one. The other one is just 4 separate bedrooms,
Four
which,
separate bedrooms.
yeah,
Okay.
which the urgency isn't completely there.
They just want to
Which
change the color.
yeah, and their children do live there, but I think they just moved back. So there's not necessarily as much urgency with that one as the one
Okay,
where they're
so
getting
so
delivered
I'll
to the
I'll use
kitchen.
that one because that's the one I'm more attracted to. I don't like any like with the other one. It sounds super complicated. Sounds super time consuming for you with the drywall, right? I mean, do you
Yeah.
feel you're not like
Oh yeah,
that
much more than if I just go in and
much
paint
more
four
than you just
bedrooms.
knocked
Yeah,
out the 4 rooms?
of
So
course.
yeah,
Yeah,
for me, yeah. So for me, like I would be heavy on that 4 rooms. What'd you quote it for? What was the price?
top of my head, I had to go look. I can look though while we're talking.
Yeah, look, take a second.
Hmm, let's see. I got 5484.
For 4 bedrooms?
And a master bathroom. I apologize. And a master bathroom. So it's
Oh, and a
like
master bedroom.
it's a large master bathroom with about
So ceilings.
17, 20
So
foot ceiling, like on one side.
yeah,
Um, it's basically another bedroom as their
is it
master
just
bathroom.
walls or ceilings and trim and
It's
doors?
everything in every room.
Ceilings, walls,
So
trim, doors.
mhm.
54. Okay, 54, like 84, right?
Yeah, we can round up to
All right. When
55,
did you
just say
send when did
55.
you send the proposal?
Mm, the email would have been around. Oh, I got a date. This one has 11/23, so about around that week that it was sent. That's when I created it. So probably within
11
a day or two.
11/23, November
Yeah.
23rd. Have you spoken to them since?
A handful of times back and forth about waiting. So I haven't really gone back to them with the urgency email really since. It's kind of going back and forth about waiting. Not like I did with the other
Have you
homeowner
spoken to
where
them on the phone though?
not since, no.
Not since. Okay, so we know that that's the probably one of the biggest things that you could be doing is getting on the phone with them,
Hmm.
even though it's a little tough.
Yeah, yeah,
You guys have conversed through email. I don't care, for me. I know that
yeah.
I'm hunting, dude. I mean, I don't like my guys got to work, so it's like it's
No,
either
I
them or
totally
me,
agree.
right? So you're looking at a price of 5,400, right? So what's the like why would they want to go with you, right? Like what's the urgency that you can use? You and I both know that your margins through the roof here because ultimately you're the only one that you're employing. at this point in time? Or
Yeah. So
yeah,
it was the thought process of like numbers I've
if
had
you had
from
somebody,
like
right,
that I'm going to get sort of to recruit,
right.
let's say, for that
So
job. So yeah, so everything is
yes,
covered. Yeah.
perfect. And I love this scenario. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So do you have any work for the first week of January, January 4th?
No.
No. All right. So you need them more than they need you.
Yeah.
Okay. People aren't expecting discounts in this trade. They don't
No.
expect it. They think that the price is what the price is. They get a couple other quotes and they think that's it. Okay. This is where you're allowed to come in as a salesperson. You know, the thing is that a majority of people that have like won this trade over so many years have just been contractors, and not many manager salespeople have ventured in to this business. So where I'm getting at is that we know that your bottom line price on this is probably $4,000. Would you agree? I mean, you would take the job for $4,000. I mean, you're probably thinking about,
Yeah, I would have to
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
or go back over it, but I mean, I guess you
I
could say
mean,
I'm
if
not
you,
better.
it's either, well, think about it this way. Would you rather have no money the first week of
Oh,
January or four
obviously,
grand?
yeah, I'd rather have
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go to $4,000 though. But
Yeah.
hear me out. Like, remember, this is the strategy that you need to develop. Low margins when you need them, high margins when you don't. Okay. So
Mhm.
let's just say this. Let's say you pick up the phone and you say, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, listen, I don't want to waste much of your time. I'm actually just reaching out to you. I just wanted to be forthright with you. The first week of January is a very tough week for us to get scheduled. It's right after the holidays. I would love to do the job for you." And I looked over my notes here and I figured I'd throw something crazy out for you in terms of reworking this proposal. Let me just ask you first, if I give you an insane deal, would you allow us to get started for the first week of January? And then you're sitting there waiting. If she says, no, no, we're not doing it, don't even tell me.
Mhm.
Oh, well, yeah, what's the deal? There you go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's whatever you want it to be. I'd say, listen, if you place a deposit today, urgency, I'll take $1,000 off your price. And you sold it for 44.80, right?
Mhm.
There you go.
No, I agree.
$1,000 off your price. Who is saying no to that? And it's like, if they know that they need it, they like you as the person, they probably said, Matt's a great guy. His price is a little high, but we'll wait until we get our tax return to do it or whatever. It's something that we want to do.
Mhm.
Cool. You lock that job in for your employees. Next, now you're on to the next one. Now you're on to
Yeah.
the next one. Now you're on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? I think that subconsciously you're afraid to do that. And I could be wrong. And maybe I'm just saying this for the podcast, but subconsciously you may be afraid to do that, or that kind of intimidates you in a way because you're selling the job for yourself and you're thinking, if I got to go in there and do that, I at least want to make X amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And I know that you said you sold it with the idea of somebody else helping you, but right now that's not true. We don't have anyone yet besides this one subcontractor.
Yeah.
You
But the
know,
way, yeah, I agree with
it'll
that
be a
because there's
lot
no one
cheaper
locked
though
in.
with an employee, because you could pay somebody, the going rate for a manager up there, I think is between 20 and $25.
Mhm.
So if he works the whole week there, which he should be able to get that whole thing done. I mean, you're looking at $1,000 in labor
Yeah.
and then no more than 500 in paint. So that's a killer profit.
No, I agree. It's just, yeah, really learning, because being in the paint industry before, kind of just learning these things as I go. Now being on the other side, I would say, yeah, maybe lowering things, or just the concern is obviously having people basically on standby, what we just spoke
Right.
about, which is a ton of great, obviously great information to move forward with. That and the fact that um yeah, I guess just really the quick turnaround, not having anyone set in stone where I can pick the phone up and be like, hey, Tom and Jim or whatever, we're going in January 9th for 5 days or something like that. So that's definitely, I would probably say, like a solid hold up for me right now to create more urgency with a few of the jobs that I have, like just, in the pipeline.
Right.
It wasn't 100% no, but it's also, I'm still 50-50. I'm doing my sales thing, but it's
When you
really
have
just
confidence in the production, you're going to have confidence in the sales. I'm telling you
100%.
to create false confidence right now, because you can't really have one without the other anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, like that's where I'm getting at is like, today hire,
Hmm.
even if there's no jobs coming. If you sit down with somebody and man, I want this guy to work with me,
Hmm.
like you'll find that guy. It's like, I want this guy.
Yeah.
I got to show up and I got to do my job now. It's going to be
Hmm.
different, man. I can't explain it to you in a way that like you can get it right now, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you do that interview and you meet that person that you think that you can build your company around. You're not going to want to let them down, and you're not going to want to let them go. So it's like, you being a salesperson, you're going to build that muscle that just like doesn't care.
Yeah, I agree. Working, I like that being relied on, which is probably why I've been in sales for so long, and now I
Right.
moved over to the contracting industry and painting, which I don't mind the labor, obviously the labor, but the point of me starting my own
I
business
like
is
that you do the labor too. I mean,
that's something I always want to be a part of. Obviously, I don't want to. I'm not going to do it 40 hours a week in the long term. I don't mind doing a day because I enjoy it. But obviously, the long term goal of my business, why I did it, was to, create the sales aspect and create a team and an environment where people want to be around, knowing that they can rely on me. Which, I like that. Which is, I think, why a lot of people start their own business. In my opinion, maybe for yourself, you like,
right.
it's just something that I do like, because you can bring people on board and they trust you. So yeah, it's really just narrowing it down that I got to get on the hiring process, and then have a bit more confidence when it comes to making that phone call, being like, hey,
Yeah.
we're good to go January 15th, 4,500. What are your thoughts? And then can we immediately pick up the phone and be
Yeah.
ready to go, as
Yeah. But
opposed to,
ultimately, I know that that's still, I could tell it's like one of those things that you're not quite ready to do. That's why I'm saying sell the job, sell the promise, and then bet on yourself to fulfill the promise. And
Mhm.
it's like that's a test for you. And it's like a test that you're going to have to go through to feel the burn of either not being prepared, or you're going to
Mhm.
feel the burn of, you know, not having a job. Like, it's either one of the two things that you're going to feel. Like, I would prefer you to feel the burn of not being prepared to do the job and just going through the grit of doing it without the right resources or without the right painter or having you doing it yourself,
I
but
did it
having
already.
that. What's that?
I did that already. I painted a
Yeah.
whole condo with
Yeah. Wow.
my very first big jobs. It was empty. Just so happened I got it. And that was one of the ones where we talked. He gave me a deposit. And next thing you know, I'm figuring it out. But, I'm still in that phase where I'm in the first 6 months to a year where it is. I don't care. And was going to figure it out. So I did get some
Yeah.
extra help with guys who I did work with.
Yeah.
But, the point of the story was I ended up just doing a lot of it
Yeah.
myself, which was great. Learn a lot. But I do know exactly what you mean where, sell it and,
Sell it. Yeah. If
fine,
you've done
yeah,
that.
do it,
Yeah.
yeah,
You can't like, you can't get better without a job. So it's like,
yeah,
I'd rather you have a job to work this system around. Like, okay, cool, we got a job for the first week of January. I'm going to put out an ad. Maybe you'll schedule that job for Thursday of the first week of January to give you an opportunity to get people through the new year. And then you can start doing a couple estimates Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, set up a
mhm,
working interview with two guys, have them come with you, see how they work. Maybe, like, that's how I see it. It's like, okay, cool, they're going to work on this job. You don't work on the job because you want to stretch that job out as long as you can. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I agree,
So you have time to get another one. Okay, guys, we're going to the next one
mhm,
Tuesday, even if there's a day in between. All right, guys, we're actually working Tuesday, not Monday. Take Monday off. And then Tuesday, we got Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what I did. I
mhm,
mean, I had a Monday, Tuesday, and then I wouldn't be able to have another job that would fill 3 days. So I'd be like, all right, we're off Wednesday and we'll be back Thursday and Friday until I got that system down. And it's like, you're kind of just playing like a game of cat and mouse, really, with, getting jobs and giving them to your guys, getting jobs, giving them to your guys. But, it really just starts that one job and then you just
yeah.
build off from there.
Well, my biggest holdup too, just being on the topic of finding someone is, now that something is like my own, working for myself, starting this is like not really letting go, but you do have to put out the effort to find that person to essentially run it with you, like the project manager. So it's not something I'm not comfortable with. It's just something that you have to learn how to like move forward and get over, that someone will be with this. If you want to grow the business,
Yeah.
someone's
But
got to be with you at the
see,
top to do this.
honestly, see yourself as what you will be, which,
Mm,
being as a professional as you are with, your sales presentation, your business acumen, these things are attractive to somebody who has worked for contractors that don't have these things, and they're not certain that they're going to get paid the next week, not because they don't have the job, just because the business owner doesn't care enough.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, like, for me, like, I don't just see the people that I employ as the people that I employ. I see them individually as how many family members are they taking care of that I'm responsible for. And the
Mm,
last time I counted, it was around 50 people are directly impacted from my ability to sell one job.
mm.
And to me, that's some weight that gets me past any barrier of, am I coming across too strong? Am I coming across too annoying? Am I coming across whatever? I don't care. I know that I have a responsibility not only to myself to hit higher standards than I did the day before, and my guys to make sure that they're working. And you're in a very, very good position in terms of like where you come in at. I just did an interview with somebody. He worked for College Works Painting. He's seen growth. So when he started his painting business, like $1 million isn't exciting to him. He's seen what 5 million looks like. So it's like he doesn't like see 1 million as the ceiling. He sees 5 million as the ceiling. So he's heading that way. And it's like you're already seeing that sales and marketing are like very important, and the production is good. But what you need to do is you need to get somebody to take that over for you so you can focus on the sales and marketing. I know that you're saying it's something you don't want to break away from, but you and I both know that sales and marketing is a full-time job.
100%. Yeah. Because I was already, when I was super busy with the painting business for 3-4 months, I was running around, which is, it's great. You gotta grind to start. Yeah. You gotta grind to start. It's great. And now when you see that the profits can be larger, and then you want the larger jobs. I want to paint a full house, of course, week after week after week. But yeah, you just gotta have the help.
Think about it this way, right? Like, what are you selling yourself your time for, right? So if you go and do a job that you can pay someone else to do for, let's say, $25 an hour, that's what you're valuing your time at. And ultimately, wouldn't you agree that your time is much more valuable selling jobs for profit rather than working inside the jobs that you're selling for a wage?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you have to see it if you really have a hard time breaking away. But the control aspect, I know, is there. You're new in the business. You want to make sure you're doing a great job. And I don't think that you don't have to like be a part of that. You just have to have a supervision role where you're stopping in, you're calling the customer. Dude, we're in a business right now where we get free managers. I say this all the time. The homeowners are our managers. Essentially, they're watching our guys. If our guys are out smoking cigarettes and hanging out for the whole day, guess what? Customer's probably going to let us know, right?
Yeah. What are you guys doing all day? Yeah.
What are you guys doing all day? Hey, the guys didn't get here till 9 o'clock. What happened? Thank you, Mrs. Jones. I'll make sure so
because I'm definitely the type moving forward. Once I get that person, I want to be there like day 1, maybe day 3, or clean up, see how things are. Like, I'm not going to be the type who probably never goes to a job, but yeah, I want to do this now when I'm only 6 months in, is find this person where I'm not doing this 2 years in and I'm laboring for 2 years while I'm also trying to sell $500,000 in paint or something like that, just to a lot of more.
And I don't think that'll be the case, bro. And you're heading in the right direction. I'm gonna that's our time, man. I'm gonna wrap this up, but I want to thank you, Matt. I think we should jump on again, man. I'd love to hear your progress after the new year.
For sure.
And was this helpful for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Awesome, took the hiring process, big part. Which
we'll dive into that, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
All right, so
hey, I just want to take a second to thank you for joining me here on the Contractor Secrets podcast. I'm just going to take this opportunity to let you know that my passion is coaching people, helping people. I've changed my Instagram name to @contractorcoach. And I did that because that is my passion. I want to help you. So please reach out to me. If you have an issue going on in your business, send me an email, find me on Instagram, message me, and let's do a breakthrough session. I want to work through your problems in your business to help you get to that next level. And one thing that I always say is this, the difference between those that get over the humps and the hurdles in business is just a change in perspective. And that's what I plan to offer you. So get with me, message me, allow me to help you take your business to the next level.